It's time to go higher. I've been up since 5:30 a.m. and God didn't put this word in my heart. It's time to change the notion of protecting your peace. Like people been using protecting your peace as a cliche not to grow. God then showed me that people be talking about they protecting their peace, but they're not really protecting their peace. They protecting their dysfunction. Because every time something comes into their life to make them uncomfortable or cause them to grow, they don't want that. So they use the notion, I'm protecting my peace. But really, you're not protecting your peace. You're just staying in the same place you are, because every time something comes into your life that causes you to go to a higher standard, you don't like it. So you want to say you're protecting your peace, but it's really not protecting your peace. You're protecting the place that you're in. Because when things come into your life, we got this notion of calling people haters that doesn't agree with us, because we're so used to people coming to our life that's not willing, that don't want us to live at our best self. We used to people coming into our life with 3D glasses on, because the only thing they there is for the show. So we're not used to people. We used to people who want us to fail, instead of people that want us to build. So when a person wants you to build, they're going to come into your life and they're going to tell you uncomfortable truths. They're going to speak truths into you. They're not going to let you stay on the same standard that you are. They're not going to let you stay in the same place that you are. They're going to make you take self-accountability. They're going to tell you, look around at yourself. They're going to come in. But this generation don't want to change for real. So we love, oh, I'm protecting my peace. I got to keep everything out. No, you're not protecting your peace. You just staying the same because you don't want to be self-accountable. You don't want to take no actions that the way that you live in, the way that you move and be foul, and the things that you do, you need to hold yourself to a higher standard. So no, people are not hating on you. You don't have no haters. You have people who's willing want you to change, but you don't want to change too. But God is telling me it's time to go higher. It's time to go higher. And it makes me thinking about the story when Jesus came into the temple and he overturned the thieves, and they was in there living any kind of way. They was doing anything. And God was upset because he came to interrupt peace. Do you hear me? Sometimes we keep talking about protecting peace, but Jesus came to interrupt peace so that you can have real peace. Sometimes you got to interrupt that fake peace so that you can get internal peace. And Jesus came to interrupt the thing. And then he put that thing on my heart this morning. It's time to get upset. It's time to get upset about the things that you've been comfortable in. It's time to interrupt some things inside of you. It's time to get upset about your dysfunction. It's time to get upset about that depression. It's time to get upset about the things that your casualness. It's time to get upset. That's why we need people that's going to come into our lives and tell us you're living below yourself. How many times have people you allow people to come in your life, or you have been in people's life trying to not offend people, but you know that they live in a certain type of way that's not in alignment with their best self. They doing anything. And we're afraid to say, oh, I'm not gonna worry about that's their business. No, you're not a friend. Friends ain't mad about getting in their friends' business. Because if I see my friend doing something that's against their best self, I'm going to tell them. Whether it's going to hurt their feelings now, but it's going to heal their future later. And we need to stop. We need to get into a place where we need to take some self-accountability and stop trying to push people away, because it's causing us to live at a higher standard than we're willing to live. But God is saying it's time to get upset. Because if you get upset enough, you're going to go higher. How many times have people came into your life and you've been around your friends and they've been talking about they're going to do the same thing for 5 years? Ain't nothing about in their life change. All they do is talk. It's time for you to tell your friends, you've been talking about that for 3 years. It's either you start doing it or you start talking about it. It's either you start doing it or you start talking about it. You got people who want to use negative, realistic, I'm just being realistic to be negative. No, it's time for you to start having some faith. And if you're going to keep being negative, it's time for you to change. It's time for us to get upset with the status quo. Jesus was not afraid not to be liked. He was not afraid. We want to be liked by everybody. We want everybody to agree with us. We're afraid to come and offend. We're afraid to offend others. And most afraid, we're afraid to offend our dysfunction. Because this really ain't about others. Because it's time to get upset with you. It's time to get upset with all the things that you have accepted. It's time to get upset with it. Because once you get upset, you're going to be able to overthrow some things so that you can begin to live in a victorious place. Because if you don't get upset about something, you're going to stay there. And I'm mad about stagnation. I'm upset that I'm in lack. I'm upset that I'm here because I'm going to my next place. And if I don't get upset about this thing right now, then I'm going to stay here. So I woke up this morning, God didn't woke me up this morning on fire. Do you hear me? And told me that. And he took me to that verse about the thieves and how he overturned it. And he said it's time to overturn some things in your life. It's time to get upset about some things in your life, because if you don't get upset enough, you won't change. It's time to go higher.